One of my favorite things about Persona games is the head-to-toe cohesion of style that permeates every level of these games. From the sound effects to the delicious-looking menus that I just want to take on an expensive night out to an upscale, but not too upscale Italian restaurant, where we will then absolutely Lady in the Tramp 5 plates of cacio e pepe, hold hands on the way home, and then, in 2 to 3 months' time, respectfully, I will introduce them to my mom, who will be a little bit concerned and maybe worried that I'm dating a 20-year-old menu screen from a video game, but she'll still love me anyways. To me, there's nothing better than a game that knows what it is, inside and out, and nothing signifies that to me more than a good-ass-looking menu screen. Because menu screens, as a concept, are pretty simple and probably tempting to just, want to slap a menu up after you've worked hard as hell crafting a beautiful video game. Because at the end of the day, menu screens are just lists of options that gamers are only going to access for a very, very short period of time with the intention, usually just to accomplish some kind of action and then get right back to the game rather than sit there and marvel in the glory and the beauty and the design of the highlight that appears behind menu option 3 when you roll over it. Attention to something so seemingly meaningless, so minute, a detail that many gamers will totally miss as they just try to frickin' adjust whatever volume setting or turn on subtitles or switch out something in their inventory. That attention to detail is so important to me. But look, gamers, menu design, alright, it's not just about the art. We can get as horny as we want about these insane poses the confidants are doing when you go over them in the menu screen, but if the menu isn't streamlined, if you can't get to what you need, and I am so sorry to Baldur's Gate 3, but if I have to dig 30 wheels deep to get to my potions because I'm carrying every scroll in the game just in case, then that menu isn't that great of a menu. Menu design is a science. It has to be thematic. It has to be beautiful, of course, but it also, at its very core, and maybe more importantly so, has to be functional. And honestly, as I said, I would argue that the functionality, the seamlessness of using the actual menu is probably on the more important side than its beauty per se. I would say a menu could still be a really great menu, even if it's ugly or boring in some ways. But to that I say, but wouldn't it be way cooler if a silhouette of the level was behind Sly Cooper's head, and if you scroll really fast on the menu wheel, it'll make a little song? Or if when you pause, it makes this tight-ass sound effect that all the characters' heads pop in a cool-ass comic book way? Or if the menu was a holographic fucking display that pops out of the Dead Space iPad Nano? Or if Mario's face was fucking detailed down to his god nose hairs? Or if the menu was a device in the character's possession and the transition is you looking down at your sexy apocalyptic Fitbit to drop the 40 fucking random ass items you accidentally picked up while looting? Menus, man. Good lord. So it turns out, there are a lot of expectations surrounding menu design, which makes sense because over the years, gamers themselves, and especially content surrounding games, has become hypercritical. Which, this critical attitude towards games can be annoying at times because, as much as gamers, including myself, would want to complain about video games, the developers are people too, and sometimes there is nefariousness or perhaps apathy or whatever you want to attribute to game design, but a lot of times it's just a group of people, a group of artists doing their darndest, which leads us back here to incredible menu design. But if we take a step back and look at what actually led me here, that would be Persona 3 Reload. Because the biggest thing that stood out to me over the course of the whole first launch trailer was the menu. So I thought it would be fun if we dove into the Persona series and looked at the trajectory, the progression of Persona menus over the course of time. So let's dive into some menus, and let's start from the start. We'll take a look at the spin-off that birthed the Persona series from its dadgum loins, Shin Megami Tensei If. So here behind me, up here on the screen, we have Shin Megami Tensei If, which was the spin-off game that spawned the Persona series itself, released in 1994, and the graphics and the menu design generally resembled that of the Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, which preceded this game. And if we hop over and take a look at some of those juicy early Shin Megami Tensei menus, first of all, this Atlas logo, good golly, that's crunchy. I'll put that up on a CRTV. The menus from Shin Megami Tensei If are basically just strictly derived from this kind of setup here. And this is from Shin Megami Tensei 1. Now, if we move down the line, we're starting to get to the actual Persona series, mainline Persona game with Persona in the name, and that's Persona 1, or Shin Megami Tensei Revelations Persona 1. Here's the menu screen. Still finding its footing in a lot of ways, and most of these early Persona games are mostly just looking like the RPGs of the time. Then we get Persona 2. I mean, they're styling up a little bit. You know, you got the butterfly going on there. Still, these menus, though, are still looking mostly like those early RPGs. Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, styling on them with a moon. Now, Persona 3 for the series is a major shift and really marks a lot of the personification of the series and really kind of defines what the series becomes. Not only in terms of menus, but in terms of gameplay, in terms of the whole social link system that is at the core of modern Persona games. And so with that, we start to see more of these stylized menus, like they're starting to kind of get into their own and branch off just from the traditional Japanese RPG. But the menus and the fights in the game also begin to look more like modern mainline Persona games. So you get more of this full menu screen style. You've got your personas, you've got your abilities. If we go into the battles, though, we see a lot of changes. You've got the kind of cutaways that happen when they crit, when they do crazy moves, whatever. But for the most part, on the whole, Persona 3 kind of acts as that baby, the step towards the extremely stylized menu screens and everything that we're going to start seeing in Persona 5 going on. You've also got classic UI design, like the dates, the time of day, kind of stuff like that up at the top, which, as we know, becomes more and more important as the series progresses. It's important to know what day you're on, what time of day you're doing such actions, because you have more agency to do things. It's less linear. Personas 1 and 2 are very, very linear. You don't get to choose who you hang out with. You don't get to take Junpei to the beef ball shop after school. You don't get to take Elizabeth to learn what an escalator is. It's just, we gotta save the world. That's it. No time for friendship. But then in Persona 4, friendship and UI design just gets a big boost. I mean, we're talking swagged out menus that are rainbow. The sound effects are insane. You've got combat menus that go crazy. You've got all-out attacks. You've got the whole shebang. It's just taking that UI design from Persona 3 and going a little crazy, doing backflips with it in a new magical way. Kanji hits a man with a chair or something. And while the bump up in Persona 4 from Persona 3 in menu design was kind of minute, we enter a whole new world, like the Little Mermaid Ariel herself, when we get to Persona 5. Like, menu design just goes crazy. Persona 5 Scramble, wait till we get to those menus. Those are the sleeper menus, honestly. Jose's menu, oh my goodness. The subtleties are just, it's just head-to-toe cohesion. The sounds are so great. The subway coming in, all the themes of Mementos, the angles. Has turning on subtitles ever went this hard? Has the loading screen ever went this hard? It's crazy. The details of the change of dates, the details of the fan site approval counter, the sound effects, the details of the texting messages. I mean, you hear a sound effect, any sound effect from Persona 5, and you know that's a sound effect from Persona 5. You don't have to think about it. The mission start on the floor. Come on. It just exudes style in all ways. It's like sweating style. I mean, look at this. All the vendors, you're kidding. You're kidding. She's doing flipper. She's like spinning in her chair. She has like DNA strands flying everywhere. This is insane. Of course, like, come on. Untouchables. Insane. The way he goes from 3D model to like flat, every transition, the way the dog tags, the bullet holes, the slap of the menu, skills, like the subtle movements he's doing back there. Items is fine, but wait till we get to the confidant screen, dude. It's insane. Like, that's nuts. Why does it look so good? It didn't have to look this good. Even the menus when you're just at your hideout. Another tiny detail, you load in your game, a Joker falls and hits the screen. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to go this hard. There's different little cameos of like On and Ryuji. There's a little Easter egg where there's a Jack Frost on the window in the winter. And Persona 5 Scramble, really. They went hard with it too. Look at that. This is cool. Got him doing little idle animations. Just chilling, he's kicking his foot. They didn't have to do that. Get in the van, everybody. Look at that, Ryuji jumping off the thing. Cute. It's cute. It's fun. In a lot of ways, I feel like these scramble menus are honestly even better than the Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 menus. They didn't have to go this hard, but they did. Sophia's shop didn't need to go so crazy, but it did. Joker's kitchen, whole menu made with love. Menus made with love in that kitchen. And now shit is getting unbelievably better. Look at him. Makoto's jaunty step has never looked cooler, has never looked more HD. Now, I am a little sad that he's no longer cute and small. But see this menu on the right, the map menu, is closer to those earlier Persona games. Personas 1 and 2 have kind of this little floating guy icon. This is moving more towards the more modern Persona 5, those kind of menus. He's walking so smoothly. Persona 3 Reload in a lot of ways looks even better than Persona 5. Like, look at that. The sparks that came off of that? The transition to combat? Character models looking insane. This with the water motif up here looks incredible. In battle, looks nuts. Just all those transitions so seamless and crazy. The all-out attack looking so good. Fun. And he's carrying a watermelon. Persona 5 Tactica, also just looking good, looking clean. Great menus all around. Like similar in style to Persona 5, but still switching it up. There's some battle. Like, it looks so good that I want this game. But all of that was to say that essentially the Persona series has a very long and beautiful history of making awesome menus. And as we can see, that's not gonna stop. They are only upping the ante and continuing to go harder and harder on the menu front. And that's it. Just wanted to show you some menus and talk about how awesome menus are. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch another one, go right ahead. It's free. Just for you. Anyways, bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.